Hi. I want to talk to you about the Romekis today. They're a family that was a German family, grew up in Germany, and they wanted to homeschool their children. They were not happy with the values that were taught in the public schools. They thought that there was too much resistance to proper values for a child, and they decided to homeschool their children. Now, in every other country in Europe, that's legal, but not in Germany. And interestingly enough, the law that makes homeschooling illegal in Germany was passed in 1938 under Adolf Hitler, and it has remained on the books straight through. And the reason is that they do not want the development of, quote, parallel societies, unquote. In other words, bring all the kids into school and we will teach them the right way and nobody is to deviate from that. Does that sound familiar? Well, it remains in the German law. And the Romekis said, no, we're going to homeschool our children at home. And the state regards that as chronic truancy. They have no distinction about homeschooling. So the Germans raided the house. They took their crying 3 children, all under the age of 10, away in a police van, and it was 3 or 4 days before the family was reunited. They imposed fines on the Romekis of thousands and thousands of euros, much more than that sum in dollars. And this poor family was absolutely hounded for wanting to school their children at home. They fled to the United States, where they live in Tennessee now and homeschool their children. The Germans came after them and said, we want to extradite them and bring them back to Germany and force those kids back into schools. Well, an immigration judge in Memphis granted their request for asylum. Then the Obama administration appealed it to the immigration court, demanding that they be thrown out of here and back to Germany. What skin was it off their nose? Why was it important to them? But nevertheless, they appealed it, and they won in the immigration court. Now, with the assistance of the of the homeschooling defense people, they are now appealing this case. We are appealing this case to the U.S. District Court and asking for justice here. Obviously, these are prisoners of conscience who are being persecuted by their government, and they should have the right to school their children at home. But the U.S. administration, in the case of Remeke versus Holder, is trying to throw them out of the country and force them back to Germany. This is an absolute outrage. Homeschooling is very important. There are 2 million homeschoolers in the U.S. They offer a quality education to their children, and when you combine the fears of school shootings and the incompetence of public schools and the resistance of the teachers' unions to any kind of education reform, and the refusal to teach things like the U.S. Constitution and values and the Judeo-Christian heritage in schools, and the fact that a lot of parents can't afford to go send their children to private school. They may have lost their jobs, and they may be home now anyway and want to save money by homeschooling. So for all of those reasons, the homeschooling movement is exploding. 500,000 new homeschoolers over the last 4 years, 2 million now in the United States. This is a very important statement of conscience and a marvelous way to give your children a high-quality education. In homeschooling, if you don't know a subject, there are tapes, or you go to a place where an expert lectures you on it and fills in the gaps in your own learning so that you can impart it to your children. And the college admission rates and the test scores for these kids are in the stratosphere, so much better than in public schools. So please, sign the attached petition to get Holder and the Justice Department off the Remekis case. Let them stay here. Let them homeschool their children. Thanks a lot for watching.